Hi, my name is Matthew Hartman, and this will serve as my exploration assignment 2. Today, I'm going to dive in a little more into my problem regarding cybersecurity, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about who it affects and dive into the importance of how it differs across the globe. Um, so, to start, I'm going to give a brief context of the issue. I have a tech background. I really enjoy working with technology and programming. I'm an information systems major, so all of this kind of led me to have a wide variety of different opportunities growing up. So, one thing I definitely found an interest in was going to be cybersecurity. I really love helping people. So the actual issue itself within the cybersecurity realm is actually scams. I think that is just something that I'm kind of drawn to as a person, and just as my personality is kind of wanting to help people, like I said. So I feel like it's a good way that I can do my part to help others. The main goal of the issue would be to find a way to make a living while also being able to help people avoid or reprimand the effects of getting scammed online. Some examples of it go anywhere from ransomware to phishing scams. Um, it's all pretty in depth to simple things. I'm sure you've all heard of the phone calls that you can hear, that you can get from across the way that saying you need to give them money. We've seen things where people can hack into hospitals and lock them out of their system and then require them to pay money. It can get from small things to huge things. That's kind of why I really like this issue, because it allows it to be simple sometimes and complex, which kind of also allows me to grow within the field. And I always strive to be better, so I think that's something definitely worth looking into. Talking a little bit about who's affected, I'm going to kind of break it down into two of probably the most common issues. One being small businesses. I think this is a good one to talk a little bit for the U.S. about, because the internet is just so important and so popular here. It's like second nature. Most people don't even think about this as being an issue, but really, small businesses are very vulnerable because oftentimes they have some traffic, but they don't have the funds, or it's not on the top of their list to implement security features. So, for instance, I know a family member back home who has a small business. It was a local company, and within the first couple of years it was starting, their server was actually hacked. A hacker across the globe stole all their information and wanted them to pay a ransom, or they wouldn't give it back. And basically, what this means is they would delete it, they would be without it. Now, thankfully, in this specific case, the owner was a little bit tech savvy, so they prepared for this and had some backups that were about month to month. So they did lose a good bit of data, but it is one of the fortunate scenarios where not everything is lost. And then we kind of jump across the pond and we go all the way even outside of the U.S. Some poorer nations, such as Africa, it's common that their banks are targeted because their security features often are lacking and slow to catch up with today's norms and the processes that hackers can use. So they are a lot more vulnerable than even a small business may be in the US, though there may be less available for hackers or scammers to get. That's kind of outside the globe that kind of touches on. Also, I think it's important to note that most scamming in particular actually happens, cyber scams that is, come from outside the U.S. Into the U.S. for the most part. Like Africa or Nigeria and India are two of the most common hubs for scammers to live. Some people may know this, but you can see that there's actually fake businesses filled story to story of call centers that just scam people over and over. It's something that really touches me on a personal level because I just can't stand it, and right now I feel like I'm still really unable to do much about it, but I appreciate the opportunity I have to learn more about it and kind of use my degree to do something a little more meaningful with my job. Going down with that, it allows for some more opportunities with that So I have started doing the basics, learning the basics, a little bit of penetration testing. So what that entails is hacking in to a company's website with approval to try to see if they have any vulnerabilities that I could find and then report to them. So that's what I have done personally, and it's actually provided some opportunities for work and to learn. I've got to get some tips and get a pat on the back from some businesses that I've helped out with that, and they've helped me. They've learned. I've talked with their IT people, seen what I could do better, what they noticed with how I did it, those kind of things. Um, the nice part is you can kind of use all the resources you have for this. So with this, I can kind of pay attention to what the Ohio State offers, some of their cybersecurity classes. I can use the internet, YouTube. There's even seminars that are free, that you can travel and hear from cybersecurity experts around the world. I think that kind of ties back in that community and culture, just because it allows to get different views, because not everything's the same as it is here in the US, and I think that's something important to note, just because there's a lot of different scams out there, and even though we do see a ton of them around here, they're not always how we know, just because it's worldwide and things are different. Different things work in different places. But to conclude, it's not that it's just cybersecurity scams saving the elderly, which are very, very common target. That is something that is really personal to me, and I do want to help, but I think that in order to really make an impact, you have to stop it where it starts, and I think that is targeting the facilities and the nations that kind of promote it. There's a lot of fishy stuff going on in those nations where the government claims they don't know anything about it, even though they're doing it. A lot of documentaries, a lot of articles on that, which is something else that I try to educate myself on. But with the intercultural competency, we can kind of bring it all together to get a worldwide view. So instead of just trying to stop it on our end by maybe blocking the signals or isolating them from us technologically, we can kind of rally and build safer digital features while also building the trust that we can handle whatever's to come and not be so at risk to lose anything, whether that's financially or even intellectually, depending who it is, how it's done. It's not just a challenge for us, it really feels like it's a responsibility for us to do the right thing, and I think that's kind of where I'm drawn to do my part. And at the end of the day, I look forward to learning everything and anything I can, and I think that starts with having just an open mind to learn from everyone else out there. Thank you.